Okay, hello again. My name is Corey Thompson. I'm an academic advisor at Austin Community College, and I am adding on to my video series for frequently asked questions. Now, I've got a couple extra videos on how to get registered for anatomy and physiology. I've got how to schedule an appointment with your advisor, but today's frequently asked question is going to be one that covers restricted and paired courses. And so right now, what you should be able to see is frequently asked student affairs website. It says, I am trying to register for a course and it says that it requires department approval. What should I do? So in this drop-down menu, we've got different types of classes that are paired with one another for different reasons, and then others that just have restricted enrollment no matter what. And so we're going to go over those together now. So honors courses, let's start here. These courses are for students that are involved in the honors program. This requires a separate application. You need to meet a certain criteria and you need to already apply and have been accepted by the honors program to be eligible for these classes. Now, it's going to be listed in the course description whether or not it's an honors course or not. So I'll show you what an example of that looks like here in just a moment. But we would see these, and then in the course description, it gives you your action steps on how to register. Even if you're already a member of the honors program, you still have to go through the honors registration process, which is via email, notifying them, letting them know via ACC mail with your ACC email, and then putting your ID and letting them know exactly which course section you'd like to register for. And then they'll either tell you, yes, you're approved, or no, there's a wait list, but we'll put you in the queue and here's your number. Okay. So that's how the honors course restriction works. When we do anatomy and physiology, that is a completely different process where I've made a video separately on that alone. So I'd like you to go and just look at that video because there's a couple of different ways on how to get enrolled there. But if you try to add the anatomy and physiology class to your schedule, you're automatically going to get a pop-up that says approval needed. So make sure that you follow the instructions on that. There is a hyperlink that goes straight to the biology information page that tells you how to take care of those steps. The next type for restriction is math department approval. Now, there are some classes that are for students who did not pass the TSI exam, which means they're below benchmark and they are not college ready. Some of these classes are state mandated, which means if you don't have the proper TSI scores, you may not enroll in these classes. And so in the course description, it's going to tell you what type of class it is. And we know that it's developmental because it starts with a 0. Okay, so some students who are interested in radiology, we know that they need college algebra, Math 1314. Well, Math 1314 can also be paired with a non-credit based math class. It stands for NCBM, and it would have a 0 right after. That is a non-credit bearing class. So if you add something that is linked with a 0, you're just adding an extra class that you do not need. So what we need to be careful about is reading the course description and making sure that if we are TSI complete or that we're TSI exempt with SAT or other college exemptions, that you pick a standalone class and you don't have anything that lists a restriction in the course description. So we'll go over that and the self-service portal in just a moment. The next type of restriction would be for an integrated reading and writing class. Integrated reading and writing is the same type of class, but it is for reading and writing. So if we did really great on our TSI math exam, but we didn't pass the writing portion or the reading portion or both, you must take developmental English paired with an integrated reading and writing. Integrated reading and writing, the little acronym is INRW. Most of those classes are going to start with a 0. And so we know that if you add an English Composition 1 class, most of our freshmen need English Composition 1, English 1301. In the course description, if there's an INRW paired with that, well, automatically we know if you're TSI complete or exempt, you do not need this class. Now, the cool thing about the INRW classes is you may not register for them for any INRWs. It'll add it to your planner, but you can click the button as many times as you want and it won't register you for either one. Math has a little bit more leeway since there's multiple levels of developmental math. So be very careful with the math. Integrated reading and writing, you're automatically going to get a pop-up that says no. Moving on, the next type of restriction we would see is for a humanities class. And the only reason why it would be for a humanities is if it's paired with integrated reading and writing. So in that course description, we're reading the fine print, we're going down to the bottom, and under the description, if it says you must take INRW-0340, automatically it is for people who did not pass that TSI exam. Okay. Now, if you are below benchmark, you didn't yet pass the TSI, and you do need to take these classes, well, you need to be working with an advisor so that we can fill out the proper forms so that you can get registered for these classes. Typically, advisors don't just let students register themselves. It's a really tricky process. So if you're one of my students and I've said, hey, we need to get you registered for integrated reading and writing, don't do it on your own. We need to sit down, find the right course pair, and there's a form that we need to fill out together, and we have to match it down to the last digit and request permission with that exact course. So that's something that you and I should be doing together. Moving on. Brass and Ascender. So these are student groups. Students that enroll in these programs have commitments for a year long. They're required to take 2 classes together in the fall and 2 classes together in the spring. It is a program that involves outside extracurricular things. You have to attend at least 3 things every semester. So the first one would be your orientation, and then the other 2 could be a community service event. It could be a college tour. It could be a kickback where we're just all hanging out and we're playing board games, or where we feed you guys and we come in just to check in and see how you're doing. But you are required to attend at least 3 events per semester. And a lot of students don't understand that. And for these type of classes, you have to sign up with a commitment form. Now, I am a Brass mentor and advisor, and I'm an Ascender mentor. So if you have questions on this, I can let you know who to get in contact with so that we can get you registered. It requires an official declaration that says, I do want to be in this program. I understand that I need to involve myself in the 3 activities per semester, and I am committing to take both the 2 classes in the fall and both the 2 classes in the spring. If that sounds like something that you would like to do, great, we would love to have you. But if you just want to take that one class, then no, you need to pick another different English class, another EDUC class. Okay. Let's look at the next one, which is going to be early college high school courses. Now, these are for our early college high school students. So they come to our campus. They are from either Round Rock High School or Cedar Ridge. They're bused here. And sometimes, not all times, but in the course description, it will tell us that they're temporarily restricted. And there's a date in that course description that will tell you when it's open to all students. So it'll say these courses are temporarily restricted to early college high school students currently attending Round Rock High School as of June 22nd. Okay, so once that June 22nd happens, enrollment is open to all students. These courses typically will have a little hazard sign, and it must be at a physical ACC campus. If it is held at another high school campus, there won't be a note about it being open to traditional students. So we need to make sure that, one, you're okay with being in a room of high schoolers. If you're 45, I don't know if I would want to be in a high school classroom, but you could. It's open to traditional students. If not, then you would pick a different time and day, a different class that is for regular traditional ACC students. Okay. Moving on. Intro to sonography, intro to physical therapy, and nursing skills. These classes are restricted by the departments only. Now, intro to sonography, easy. This is anyone who is planning on applying to this program. You just fill out a petition form. You give them your ACC ID, your name, and the semester you'd like to apply to the program, and they will give you an override to register for that class. Okay. Same thing applies to physical therapy. You need to fill out the petition form, and the closer you are to the application, the more likely you're going to get that petition approved. So they'd like you to get done with most of your prerequisites and then take that class. Okay. But that doesn't mean that you can't take it your first semester. You just need to still fill out the forms. Okay. Lastly, the nursing skills here. This is restricted for students who have only applied to our nursing program. So if you have not completed your prerequisites, if you have not been admitted officially by an ACC nursing program directly, you're not going to be able to register for this class. If this is on a list of transfer classes that you need, you won't be able to take it here at ACC. You'll have to take it at your transfer school. It is restricted only for students who have completed the TEAS exam, completed all of their prerequisites, have officially submitted their immunization documentation, done that info session, and filled out their application and submitted it by the registration or the application deadline. If you haven't done those steps, you will not be invited to take nursing skills. And those invitations come after they have received your application. Okay. So now that we know all the different types of restrictions, we're going to try to go into the self-service portal and we're going to try to dodge and find the right classes. And so under this graduation cap, we want to go to student planning and we want to plan and schedule. So that's where I am right now. We are looking at an example for college algebra, which is Math 1314. First thing we want to do is filter for the term. That's the most important filter we want. And then we're going to look inside the course description. When we look inside here, I can see it says MATD-0414 must be taken at the same time as this course. If you're TSI complete, you do not need this class. Okay, let's keep looking. Let's see about this one. Let's get this one here. 0414, we don't need it unless you have the right TSI scores. Let's look at this one. This one is standalone. It doesn't have an extra added class here. It says you must have the satisfactory score on the TSI mathematics exam. So this means you must be TSI complete or have completed your developmental classes. So this is what a class for TSI complete students looks like. This is a standalone class without any added extra courses, and it says it is for TSI students that are complete or exempt. Okay, let's take a look at an EDUC class, and then we'll filter for fall. And let's take a look at Round Rock. Let's look at this very first one here. We're going to open up, look at the course description. Aha! It's paired with English 1301. Let's see why. Under additional information under this course description, this is part of the BRASS academic program. So this means automatically you're going to have to sign up for BRASS if you want to take these two classes together. We can't pick and choose which ones you want to take. You have to take them both in the fall and then in both of those BRASS classes in the spring. BRASS is great though, and so is Ascender. You guys get extra support throughout the semester. So if you're interested, I think that'd be wonderful to sign up for both of those. Here's fall for English. Let's take a look to see if we can find one here at Round Rock that has a restriction. This one doesn't have any seats. This says you must be TSI complete. This one's good. No restrictions. It doesn't have any added classes. This is good. Let's see if we can find one that does have a restriction. It's typically probably going to meet. Here's one that is for dual credit early college high school. Let's see. Temporarily restricted to early college high school students attending Round Rock ECHS. As of June 22nd, enrollment is open to all students. So technically, you could add this to your course schedule if there were a seat open, right? But we would have to wait until after the 22nd, which today is after the 22nd, so we could add that. Let's take another option. Let's see if I can find 1406. I know they have some honors options for this course here. Most of them are all the way at the bottom. Oh, it doesn't say. Let me see. Typically, it'll say it in the course description. Yeah, honors. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little. Section 700 is an honors course. This is an honors cellular molecular course, and it says restricted enrollment. Please, it says registration is for this course is done by the honors program staff. Please contact the honors program at honors@austincc.edu. So your steps and why you cannot register for this class are listed in the course description. Let's see if I can find an INRW class. So humanities for the fall. Appeared. All right. So when we look at humanities, let's take a look at this one. You must take one of the following, INRW-0420. This is for people who did not pass that TSI exam on the English portion. So this is not for TSI complete students. Okay. All right, so we've done an integrated reading and writing. We've taken a look at an honors course. We've taken a look at developmental math. We've taken a look at those paired classes for students that are enrolled in BRASS and Ascender. I think just being really careful about reading the course description is going to be the very first thing that we need to do. If anyone has any questions, I'm always available via email. I'm very fast with my email responses unless I'm out of the office, but I typically will respond within 24 hours. I'd like students to take the initiative to read and be ready to do whatever action steps are required of you, because a lot of times students get lost. They wait, they just have it sitting there on their schedule, and by the time registration opens up, everything fills up really quickly. So what we want to do is prepare you, send you a video with these frequently asked questions. This was actually recommended to me by one of my students because she found it very difficult. So I said, hey, I can make a video on this. If you have anything else that you feel is confusing with the registration portal, with just the systems here at ACC, I'm happy to make these videos for you guys because I want to make sure that you guys can maneuver without always having to wait for an appointment. Okay. As always, hit me up via email and schedule your appointments early. Okay, bye.